Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is a really special day. This is B Chow and today I am at this company, RUF Automobile Design. Now this company has fascinated me for so many years for so many different reasons. If you are anybody like me who's been addicted to playing the Need for Speed games, anything from the Need for Speed Underground, the Underground 1, the Underground 2, you would know this company because RUF was one of those car manufacturers that gave their cars to Need for Speed to the franchise. That was my first introduction to this brand. During the 1986 and 1987 years, these guys made a video of a RUF, the original CTR. The original CTR going on the Nürburgring, and man, that video was amazing. This is the latest 2017 RUF CTR. This car actually harks back to the 1987 original Yellowbird, the car which made this company so famous and so popular. That car was basically a legend back then, because in 1987 when the RUF CTR went against the likes of the Ferraris, the Lamborghini, this car not only broke the benchmark for what was possible by a small little manufacturer here in Pfaffenhausen, but it actually gave a tough time to some of the big players in the market. So this car has been completely remade, although it looks like the original, and the reason behind that is they've made it look like the original so that the charm of the classic, the legend, always remains. So one of the biggest changes that you see here in the 2017 CTR is that this car has a carbon fiber monocoque that is completely designed in-house and developed in-house by RUF. The front fenders, the bumper, the bonnet, the doors, the rear bodywork, all of this is custom made and designed and developed in-house by RUF. On the inside, this thing holds a 3.6 liter twin turbocharged engine which produces a gigantic 710 horsepower. Now that is something to look forward to. And that 720 horsepower is delivered directly to the rear wheel. In fact, this is one of those cars which has a better power to weight ratio than some of the Porsches of modern day. On the inside also things are very simple. Like you have this lovely classic style racing seat, and you have the classic Porsche 5-dial instrumentation. You have your air conditioning and heating, you have your cruise control, you have your 6-speed manual gearbox, and that's about it. That's all you get in the RUF, because this car is about purity. It's about pure driving experience. This particular car being a development prototype, nobody apart from a handful of company employees are allowed to drive the car, because the car actually doesn't have insurance on the road to be driven by normal people. I was really lucky to have Mike, who's the head of sales, right around the corner, who offered me a ride in the 2017 CTR. How many kilometers has this car done?
Well, that's hard to say. Since it's our prototype, we drive it every now and then we change things, then we drive again.
Okay.
Different instruments, but I would say roughly like 10,000 kilometers.
In this car, you guys have decided to go with the Formula 1 style suspensions.
Yes.
Is that only for this car, or were the CTR3 and the CTR2 also the same?
The CTR3 had it only on the rear axle. And for this car, we then decided, okay, we fully go everywhere. In the front axle, we have it in driving direction. And on the rear axle, you have it in the transversal
Yeah, it's
way.
transverse and longitudinal.
Exactly, and that's also what you feel when you're driving with this car. It's like the way it steers.
It's flat.
Perfect. See? This is a complete different driving experience. Because today it's hard to find a real pure driver's super sport car.
Yes, because most of the cars with so much power nowadays are all automatic gearboxes with so much electronics that you're not in control of what's happening in the car.
Exactly. Today most of the cars feel like the Need for Speed cars.
Yeah.
You're more like playing.
It's more like a PlayStation.
Pushing buttons.
Yeah.
And that's why Mr. Ruf said, as you see, we have no radio in here.
Yeah.
So we say there's no need for the radios in the back.
This is in the back.
Exactly.
That's where the music comes from.
Exactly. And when
Absolutely.
you're driving and you want to enjoy the car, you need to listen to the car. You need to feel it.
Yeah.
And you need to listen to it.
You need to listen to the car. You guys are one of the only people who are taking us 30 years back and making us feel really special.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what we try.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My luck became even better when we came back to RUF after a short drive, because as soon as we entered the RUF premises, Mr. Alois Ruf himself, the man, the legend, he was standing outside, and I went across to have a small conversation with him. And he said, why not we have this conversation while I take you out on a drive? And we went on a small drive in the new CTR.
But how does it work? So when a customer buys a car from you, depending on where he wants to use it, do you tune the suspensions accordingly, or is it a standard setup?
Well, this what you feel in this car now is our standard setup, which still has comfort, you know.
Yes.
And as you see, it's still very drivable on the bumpy roads.
Yes, yes.
And so I think this is the good all-round suspension. But there will be some people they want to have suspension that is racier.
Yes.
Or for the track.
Only for track use.
That we will also have.
Okay.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, like, what are the different kinds of options if a customer wants, they can have?
On this car there will not be many options because this car is a pure sport driving machine.
Yes.
So we are staying with that as much as possible. So we're not really want to go away from that because then we recommend the customer to buy a different car.
Yeah, something like the SCR or something else. You're not even going 100%. You're just maybe 60-70%.
Oh yeah, 50-60.
Hey. What was your first philosophy when you started the first CTR?
The first CTR was a lightweight car and was for that reason performing very well. And the first CTR has been very, very appreciated by the collectors.
Yes.
And the people who own the cars for many years.
Like,
Because later such cars were no longer built.
yeah.
Because today the cars are full of electronic
It's too complicated.
and very heavy. And for the 30th anniversary of the CTR, I thought we should continue the tradition.
Yeah. Bruce Myers has one of your cars, yes?
You know Bruce?
I've heard and read a lot
Heard of
about him.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he does.
yeah. He's got the first one, yes, the 001.
Of the old one, of the
Yes, the
CTR one.
the
yes.
original Yellowbird.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure he must be loving that
He
car.
loves it. He
One of
loves
his favorite cars.
Yes,
Because I can only imagine
Yes,
driving
no,
something
no,
like
he
this.
is. He's very happy about it.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
he's a real connoisseur, you know. He loves the cars and he has a nice collection of cars.
Yes. Have you taken this car to the Nürburgring?
Yes. No, not on the Nürburgring yet.
Okay.
Now we are going in October
For testing.
for more testing. Yes.
Okay. Now I'm guessing that this new chassis, the new monocoque that you've developed, is going to be the base for all your future cars.
Also for more spin-offs, yes.
Yes.
What is coming? The next one that is coming is the SCR
Uh-huh.
with a normal aspirated engine. This is the green one that is in the show.
Yes, the 4 liter.
Yes, the 4-liter.
So the new SCR is still like 2-3 years off. There's still time.
The new SCR will start in 2020.
2020.
Yes.
Okay. I am not sure about this, but I've heard that you used to claim that your cars, the original CTR, used to make about 460 horsepower, but all the cars
469.
469.
Yes.
But all the cars that have been tested, they've all been above 500 horsepower.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We have used strong German horses.
So I am guessing that this is also more than 710.
It will
Could be, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
As you can see over here, this is a very simple car. The reason is they want to keep the car as pure as possible. You won't see any fancy gadgets in here. You won't see a fancy stereo system. You won't see anything which is more than what is required, because this car is for the purist. What I mean by that is you don't even have a stereo system, because why do you need a music system when you have 710 horsepower screaming right behind your head? It's as simple as that. It's got the basic electronics what you need in a 710 horsepower car. But apart from that, it's a very, very simple recipe, something which I believe is missing in today's cars, because Nowadays the cars are becoming too complicated. You've got 10 different driving modes, you've got 10 settings for the suspensions, you've got 10 settings for the steering, you've got 10 settings for the engine. It sometimes get a little too overwhelming, and like it's a bit too much sometimes. And that's what this car does best. It keeps things simple, keeps you in the middle of everything, where you are the center. It's not the electronics that are controlling this car when you're driving, it's you who's controlling this car when you're driving. And that in itself is a completely different sort of a driving pleasure.